Being part of the LGBTQ plus community isn't as easy as it is shown in movies. To be frank with you, I wish it was, because once you see the main protagonist graduate and really strive themselves to really be in terms of the sexual orientation enough to the point of coming out with their friends and family, they're immediately met with the acceptance, the love of a family, that no matter what, they'll still love them, whoever that person turns out to be. And to be frank with you, I wish my family was that way. Unfortunately, when I came out, I was met with mass hysteria, and soon after, I was met a death threat from my own father. If I didn't say that I was not a homosexual, he would kill me right then and there. It was this and the recognition of my inability to really make that many friends allowed me to really strive for acceptance in other people, primarily through the LGBTQ plus community. And it was the LGBTQ plus community that really allowed me to be comfortable and confident in me being gay and me having an attitude and me having uh, a certain fashion sense that really allows me to be really incredibly expressive. And it is this expression that allows me to be open to homophobia and discrimination that I experience firsthand. And it is this expression that allowed me to see the internalized problems that the LGBTQ plus community has in itself. As most of you guys are incredibly well aware of the gradual acceptance of the LGBTQ plus community, it has been very well apparent of how popular and normalized gay people are now more than ever when you take in consideration of the popularization of gay apps, gay bars, and gay clubs that have been mostly steered to gay people. And it is this that has allowed gay people a space where they could interact freely with themselves and with other people that identify with being gay. And it is this environment that not a lot of people really ever expect to be a problem within the LGBTQ plus community, although I believe it's part of the problem that starts a lot of problems in the LGBTQ plus community. I was a person who would often go to gay bars, who would go to Grindr and Tinder, and I would often see the over sexualization of a lot of people through the people that I talked with, and even me to a certain extent. And this really allowed me to see that as a problem within the LGBTQ plus community. And I really do like to believe I'm not the only one who sees this as a problem. Over-sexualization in the LGBTQ plus community sees themselves through the environments, gay dating apps, and gay bars that allow themselves to be over-sexualized because of the purpose that is behind them. Once you take in consideration of the purpose that is behind them, then it starts to make more sense why gay people are more over-sexualized and how that over-sexualization excludes other gay people who don't necessarily fit under the ideal attractiveness, or really people who don't really want to portray themselves in a sexual manner, and allows them to be excluded from a great portion of the community. And I'm going to be explaining how that over-sexualization within these environments allow for isolation. So firstly, I like to say that the over-sexualization within the LGBTQ plus community leads to the isolation of many people. Primarily, this can be seen through the popularization of Grindr, a popular hookup gay app that allows for gay people to easily access a one-night stand in a matter of seconds. And you can imagine that the millions of people who are utilizing Grindr in the United States are mostly going to be steering to the conversation of sexual manner. And it is this domination of Grindr being the main communicator for a lot of gays that a lot of gays feel the need to utilize Grindr, not for the need to have a one-night stand, but the need to connect with one another. And when they do talk with another person, it's most likely going to be talking about sexual matter, because the purpose of Grindr is to provide easy accessible sex to gay people. So a lot of the users behind them are not necessarily going to think of finding a long-term relationship or really having meaningful conversations. They're most likely looking just for a quick fuck. And it's this distinction that is really important when you are recognizing a lot of environments, because it's important to recognize the context and the purpose as to why they exist in the first place. And when you take in consideration of the existence of Grindr, the main purpose of Grindr is to provide sex to gay people. And when you take in consideration of the context behind these environments, it is absolutely crucial to basically identify the isolating factors. And the isolating factors of these environments are people who do not necessarily really want to illustrate themselves in a sexual manner, people who do not feel comfortable in highlighting themselves in a manner where they are seen as sexually aroused or promiscuous, allows them to be not suitable for these environments. And these environments are hugely popular in LGBTQ plus communities. In addition, you also have to take in consideration of people who do not necessarily fall in the attractive model. And the attractive model for me is a model where it is dictated by the promotion of media that basically dictates the attraction that male has, particularly because media has depicted many males to be attractive through containing Eurocentric features and a bulky physique. It basically pretty much constitutes that anybody who doesn't necessarily have these Eurocentric features or bulky physique is legitimately not attractive or not necessarily desirable to a large majority of gay people. And it is this promotion of the gay ideal that most majority of people do not necessarily feel comfortable in really presenting themselves in these types of environments, in the fear of not being attractive enough because of the sexual matter that is tied with these environments that really do place heavy importance in your physical appearance. And it is these factors that really incredibly isolate a lot of people from even communicating with a lot of people. And to be frank with you, a simple solution to this is just the establishment of environments that do not necessarily rely too heavily on sexual matter. I would like to go to my conclusion, where I would basically pretty much be ending the speech. To be frank with you, over-sexualization in the context of the environment and in the consideration of the attractive model to a lot of gays have isolated a large majority of gay people to the point to where they do not necessarily feel comfortable in communicating with the LGBTQ plus community through these environments. And it is this isolation that is incredibly damaging to a large majority of people, because they do not necessarily have an easy way to really access they don't really necessarily have an easy way to access other gay people. Primarily, a lot of people might use gay dating apps because it provides an easy, anonymous way to basically pretty much provide safe and secret encounters with gay to gay. And it is this that it makes it absolutely crucial to really heavily establish other main communicators that basically do not rely too heavily on sexual matter, because it really is upsetting to really think about how a community so discriminated and so rejected to the world, where if you were revealed to be gay in most countries, you would be executed, lynched, and thrown rocks by mobs. It is absolutely ridiculous to have us discriminate and exclude members of our own community. It really is absolutely ridiculous to have a group so oppressed that we have to oppress others within our own group. It's absolutely just as ridiculous and doesn't necessarily really have to exist. Instead, we have to unionize and we have to collectively organize ourselves in a manner where we do not exclude other people just because they do not follow themselves in traditional manners of communicating with other people. And I really do think the establishment of gay book clubs and other clubs that do not necessarily really tie too much into gay bars um, or gay dating apps really do provide an excellent way for many other people to communicate through being comfortable in their own terms. And it is this that really does emphasize the importance of unity. When we take a look back of what our ancestors have done to basically pretty much collectivize and unionize, to basically see each other, they have gone such a great length, and we should not ever exclude other people from really sharing that feeling, ever. And that really includes my speech. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night.